one thing I was really impressed with is I saw you posted a TikTok.
Oh, it was hard.
What was hard?
I'm so proud of you. Why was that hard?
I'm stepping out of the box.
You are, and you should be, yes.
Yeah, I'm going to really try to focus on doing that once a week, maybe.
Yeah.
But my job, it is important to educate people, and people don't understand insurance, so I do have a responsibility to get it out there, what things mean and what you may or may not be covered for, what gaps could be in your coverage.
Well, people don't know it. We just assume. Like, it's just like, sign me up. And then people are like, wait, I didn't have that? When something...
Before we jump into that, I want to hear more about this TikTok journey. How did you get interested and what's hard about it and all those things?
Also, so for me, with like Scout Guide, it's like, we're just, we're Switzerland trying to help promote and like put people with resources and stuff like this. And some industries we work with are a little more exciting than others. So our professional service industries, sometimes I worry about because I'm like, we can only get, and my interns that work with me know, because like when we're doing stories for you guys and things, it's like we try to make it just as a little bit more interesting for you. And so when I see my members doing stuff like that, I'm so proud of you all for because it isn't easy, especially with insurance.
Service is hard because I wish I had something to take a picture of and make it easier to sell, but it's not. But what's hard about TikTok is just having the confidence to put it out there that, you're not on TV all the time, and that's what it's like.
So it's not because it's TikTok, but it's just because you're in front of the camera?
I can't do the videos on TikTok myself. I have to say the young girls in my office videoed me, so I have to probably get up to speed on that myself.
Do you feel like it's different? Is it harder? Like, you mean like with Reels? Like, is it different?
Yeah, I was going to say, are you comfortable posting on Instagram?
No.
Okay.
It's like, no.
I was going to say, there's an underlying thing about TikTok then, but okay.
And we're talking videos. It's just more real life, I guess, versus edited.
But it's a muscle too, right? I mean, you talk about insurance all day.
Yes.
You live and breathe it. So for you to be able to make content and just do it on camera,
right?
Over time, it's a muscle. You'll get used to it.
It's a muscle.
I used to be nervous about all this stuff. I don't even really notice it at this point.
Well, I mean, even when we do live Instagram interviews, I mean, I'm still always like, okay, well, I mean, and something always goes wrong. My dog starts barking, and I have to get up and put her in her kennel.
Right.
I mean, but it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Because people love it. If you mess up, I think people actually are starting to
I agree.
enjoy that, like the live blooper.
I agree. Somebody that I follow and have for years, a local celebrity, is Amanda Nybert. And Amanda's done a great job with that, I think, being very real.
I think so too.
In her social media.
She has.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of more influencer type people like her are doing that. It's not so scripted.
I agree.
Which I think's better.
Yeah, we spent forever. I mean, Instagram was built on aesthetically pleasing and sort of lying to everybody and showing just your highlight reel of life. And everybody's in on that joke now. And we're like, nah, no, this is not how this goes.
So true.
So we're swinging back the other way. And some people are oversharing in a lot of cases, maybe. But but the barrier to making content now is so much easier because you can be relatable and let your dog bark. You can let the famous clip of CNN, I think during COVID, when somebody was live talking and like the kid walked in the door and he's like peeking, like, people don't care. It's relatable. That's what they care about.
Great.
Yeah. Because it's real life.
My question is, how will ChatGPT fall into all of this?
Interesting.
I'm trying to wrap my brain around it.
Well, I think we talked about this. Did we talk about this a little bit with Interior Yardage?
I think, yep.
So
a little bit.
We were at the editor conference for Scout Guide, and it was a topic, obviously, for small business owners and how it's going to apply. And some of us are familiar a little bit with it, others not. I come back, and my boys are 18 and 14, and I'm just sitting there talking to them about it. I'm like, have y'all heard about this?
Right.
And they didn't even look up. They didn't even it was like, no, they were like, Mom, it's written on my papers.
Right.
I was like, what? Like right now? Like now she's like, yeah, I wrote my last paper. I just turned in.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
How did TikTok taught them how to use it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
I mean, they're
crazy.
already totally using it.
Yeah.
I had asked someone to do something for me, and it wasn't getting done. So I asked my daughter, will you show me how to get ChatGPT to help me with this?
Yeah.
Well, I did it in 10 minutes with the help of ChatGPT versus paying someone.
What was it? was
It
it?
was It was writing
research?
content,
Yeah.
basically. But yeah.
I think it's cool that it's on your radar. You know, there are a lot of people that they've heard about it because it was said on the news or they saw something once, and then they don't think about it anymore. You know.
But to implement
But
it, like
to actually go and execute, and use it.
Oh, yes.
yeah.
It's super important to be early to some of this stuff. Some of it's nonsense, but like ChatGPT, I think it's not
You
going
just wonder,
anywhere.
how's it going to affect every industry?
Right.
And there's a lot of jobs I do think it's going to do away with.
Well, AI is already killing off a lot of editors
Yeah,
as far as like
exactly, yeah.
video and photo retouching with generative fill.
Really?
Oh yeah. I mean, AI can sit there and recognize people versus dogs versus other objects. If you had a photo that was you at the beach and you really kind of wish there was a boat behind you, you just draw a little thing with the lasso tool, generative fill, you say, insert a boat behind me, and it goes boop, and there's a boat. And it gives you options. It's like, well, would you like this boat or do you want that boat? And it's not perfect.
Right.
But this stuff is only going to get better.
Oh, right.
It's only getting better.
I wonder if that
Yeah,
would maybe
it's
change
wild.
our photo shoot. But you know, like when we get the digital images,
Yeah.
if we want to
For
change up.
sure, yeah. You
Just
don't even
type
have to
in
go
what you
on
want it to
search.
be.
Change it.
You don't have to
Be
go
like,
do it.
I want to be in
Where
Paris,
does Holly want to go
France.
today?
Right,
You know?
exactly.
Yeah.
That's what people are
Interesting.
afraid of with like video editing, for example, because you could say like, well, replace the sky with XYZ, when in the past you had to get a video effects person, but now you don't because, well, AI can do that.
Wow.
And again, it's still not perfect, but it
Right.
will be at some point.
Yeah.
So
I do
it's
think
really
it's a little
interesting.
scary that my kids are. I mean, because that's borderline. Like they're just not doing the work. That's kind of scary.
But it's also
agree.
today.
I know.
And so is it wrong? They're utilizing the resources at hand
That's
that are
true.
going to be here in the future. I don't
And I think it's really cool they
Yeah.
knew how to implement it.
exactly.
And get
I mean,
it
they were
done.
still able to.
Yeah.
I mean,
And he said I've edited it. He's like, and then I changed up things, Mom. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like,
Yeah.
I was like,
it's a good foundation. I mean, you probably found
I
that like
know.
the product it gave you was like 80% good, and then maybe touch it up or something. But like,
Pretty darn
yeah,
good.
yeah. Well, and the better the
Maybe
prompt that you give it,
98.
yeah.
I would like to figure out how to, and this is me, I just need to rework some prompts. Yeah.
You know what I think? I saw somebody on TikTok give this advice, and I went and tried it, and I thought it was helpful as far as prompt writing. And it's basically where you just tell ChatGPT, tell me what you need to know to be able to do this job. So say like, what do you want to know, or what do you need to know from me to be able to give me 20 email subjects for my retail store where we sell X, Y, and Z, and it'll say, here's all the things I want to know from you.
I love
And it'll say things like,
Wow.
well, tell me about your customer base, like how many things do you sell, like what's your average order
That
value?
was-
Like it gets crazy depending on what you put in there.
that was kind of the focus of the editor conference, like
Yeah.
using some of our clients as examples. And that's kind of the rabbit hole we went down for a long time at that conference about
Yeah.
that kind of.
So the question, what do you need to know to do this, whatever?
And tell it what
Right.
you're trying to make
Just
happen,
fill
and
it.
it'll ask you questions, and you're filling the knowledge gaps that it doesn't know yet.
Yeah.
Rather than giving you some general thing, if you just say like, give me an email subject for a 4th of July sale, it'll go, well, I don't know anything about
What do you
this, but I
sell?
can generally give you one. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or if you say like, what do you need to know? It'll ask you your products, your customers.
Right.
Do you have any, I think one of the questions was like, do you have any slogans? Do you have any promotions or discounts or sales that are going to be part of this?
Right.
Like it's asking all of that.
Right.
It's wild.
How do you see it? Like, do you see it eventually like replacing employees?
Well, it's
Hope
definitely.
none of them are listening. I'm just
I don't know about employees. No, I can't imagine that in my office, but people that we hire to do specific projects.
Sure. Yeah.
Those
like outsourcing
projects,
things.
exactly, outsourcing things, I think we could probably do more in-house.
Yeah. As it evolves.
Right.
Yeah.
And the school thing, I think, is interesting because we've talked about this with a few different people. Like, what's the function and purpose of school? I think is kind of what this ends up questioning,
Right.
Because to your point, it's like, is it to actually memorize the content and really know this information?
Right.
Or to your point, is school really a tool to teach you to be a problem solver?
Right.
Well,
And
let's
who
back
cares
up.
about the
School
trivial
didn't even teach you
information?
how to use it.
Well, yeah.
Like
TikTok
school
did.
didn't even teach them
Yeah,
anything.
TikTok.
Yeah.
You know, it was like they were just doing something they had to do, and they figured out how to do it in a whole different way.
Yeah.
It wasn't even from school.
Yeah. Well, and it's never going away. And I know that there are plenty of places that have had blanket things that are like, do not ever use ChatGPT. If we find out that you did it, you
Well,
know.
that's just because they're
Well, and I
threatening to
even wonder, I keep hearing young people talk about, my professor said that they have products now that will catch you if you use ChatGPT. Do they?
right now.
Do they?
I don't know. But the other part too is the IP part, you know, whether it's AI and making photos or manipulating videos, or if it's writing a book or
So
a
you're saying that they
report.
can track
Who
the,
own?
the IP address?
Oh, sorry. I mean, like
Is that
the
what you're saying?
intellectual property
Oh,
of it.
okay.
Like who owns
Okay.
it? If ChatGPT came up with that novel, did
Oh.
you do it, or did OpenAI? I can't remember the name.
Right.
The company behind
who
ChatGPT.
owns
Did
the
they have something to
content?
do with it? Is it where the servers are? There's a
how-
lot of questions
And
with
how out
that.
of control is this going to get? And it is, obviously.
Yeah, they will. But it's like everything else. It's gonna It's gonna be like this crazy craze thing that everybody's gonna get all worked up about for a while,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then it'll end up being something that probably doesn't really go that far. I don't think. I don't
Right.
know. I mean, it might. But I feel like it's gonna be like also anything else where there's gonna be like a niche market for it.
I think,
Don't you think?
I think early it'll be niche and small in younger people, because younger people are just so quick to adopt new things because they don't know a world without just adopting new things.
Right.
You know,
Like my
you have
parents.
older people that have, you know, grown up with certain things that this is just what we have.
But
You
I think
know?
industry-wise too.
Right.
I see it more as like an industry-driven niche market thing. I think that
Yeah.
you know, for you, I think it will become very valuable.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And then there's other industries where I think it'll just be like, yeah, we're not going to use that. Like it just
Right.
doesn't make sense. We don't
I
need
still,
it.
I think maybe almost like combining Alexa a little bit more into your everyday kind of life, and that sort of ability for Alexa to do AI powered thinking for you. I mean, Siri and Alexa have really changed a lot of lives in being able to help organize things or just very quickly find information for you. Hey, Siri, show me XYZ, you know?
No, I never use
But-
it. Ever,
Siri?
ever. Yeah.
I only use it when I'm driving.
But imagine that, like,
Really
instead
do.
of
It's the
saying,
only
like,
time I've ever talked to Siri.
Alexa, find the phone number for whatever, it'll just find the number
Alexa,
rather than
whatever.
going to Google and populating lists, you know, because that's still what happens. You tell them, like, hey, find this information, and for the most part, it can't find it.
Right.
It populates a list of things where you might be able to go find it.
How is
But now
Siri
it's just
different
going to
from
give you an
Alexa?
answer.
How's Siri different
How's
than
Siri
Alexa?
different from Alexa? Are they different?
No, they're basically the same thing.
No, they just have the same name.
Like
It's kinda
assistants.
weird.
Yeah.
Kind of weird. But I think all this too, though, Holly, is making you, I think, very much a, you know, you're such like a pioneer of what you're doing in Paris.
Well, thank you.
I mean, there's a lot of businesses in Paris, but you're like, you've always been just more like, what is the word I'm looking for?
Thoughtful.
No, like with all the technology, with what
just
you're doing, like
forward
just-
thinking,
yeah, very much so.
innovative.
Like your
We do try to be
marketing.
more high tech than any other agency
Yeah.
for sure. There's
Even when
a
you
lot
walk
of-
in your front door, like you can
Well,
just
thank
tell. I
you.
mean, you're just
Right.
it's just a different, you know, you're just ahead of the game out there.
Right. We do try to be young and different
Mm-hmm.
than any other agency, because most agencies you walk into, it's an older vibe. You know, they've been there 50 years and
Feels very, very officey.
officey.
Yeah.
It's insurance. This is how we've
Right,
always
it's
done this,
boring.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
So we try to be very different. I love to have good music playing, and
Which, by the way, I was going to tell you that we should have music on when people get here. Another,
should.
we need music on when people
We
get
should.
here. It's like quiet.
yeah, I do think music sets a tone.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alexa's sitting over there. I just got tired of forgetting that it was on, and it would
Right.
just like start doing things.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, everything, your aesthetic, it kind of reminds me a little bit of this, of here.
This
It's just a
is
tiny bit.
beautiful.
You know,
I
you've got the
love
exposed
this.
wood and
Yeah.
But why do you feel like the vibe of things matter now? You know, because before, like to your point, like being a professional and an expert at information is all that really mattered. But now people align themselves to a brand and sort of, the feeling around something?
I don't know that I can answer that from a customer's perspective as much as I have.
Well, you're a
to
customer
work.
of things, right?
Well, that's true. But in my office, I have to work there, and so it has to make me happy, and so I have to have the right vibe.
So did you do that for you?
Yes.
Okay. And it just seeps into the
first.
customer experience.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I feel like, people like anymore now, especially like, again, like that's what I'm saying, like you were ahead of this curve where people want a service, but they fall in love with the person behind the brand. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like you are your brand. Obviously.
Well, and I was going to say, I like for things to be a reflection of me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've done such a good job at that.
Thank you. I had an office in Lexington, and because you just really don't need a physical office all the time, we closed that because we just didn't have the foot traffic there. Everything is so
Where was
virtual.
it? I don't think I knew that.
Off Wellington Way.
Okay.
But when I got there, I said, oh my gosh, I've got to change this whole office because I can't work in this office.
I cannot work here.
So I redid that office, which was really stupid, but it has to reflect me, I guess, is long story short.
Yeah. And your focus. So, because now did you focus more on farms? Like when you
We do.
started?
We do. And of course, my husband's in the horse business, so we have quite a bit of equine business in our agency. But we also do cattle farms, but also commercial insurance and personal, all of your auto, home, toys, and life insurance we take care of.
Big toys.
Yeah, big toys.
What are some of the things, because I don't know the answer to this, like what are some of the things that people in the farming community need insurance-wise that maybe isn't obvious?
I think natural disaster kind of stuff, like storms.
For sure. I mean, you want to make sure that all of your barns, all of your buildings are covered for sure. This spring, our storms that came through were
Those winds,
devastating.
I know,
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely. I think we had over $1 million in claims.
Oh, my
from
God.
this. But beyond that, what people don't realize is the liability side. How you can be sued for anything. I have a client right now. He was in a personal auto accident. Personal auto. It wasn't his fault, but you can be sued for anything.
Right.
So the person they hit, she is now suing his company, his commercial business, which I have the insurance on. So you have to make sure.
She's not only suing, she's suing his company.
Oh, yes.
Was he in
which
a
had
company
nothing to
vehicle or
do.
something? How did the vehicle?
it
How did the
was-
company become part of this?
Because she
people
looked
just
it
do
up,
that,
and
yeah.
or
Okay.
her lawyer looked it up, and said we're going to go after that too. And it will go
Wow.
nowhere, but you have to make sure that your insurance company is going to provide the attorneys and the defense that you need, so that it's not out of pocket.
So how do you know
Right.
that? How do you vet a company?
Well, in this situation, you want to make sure that your LLCs, any entity you have anything to do with needs to be named, and your personal names. So you need to cross-reference all entities and all names on every policy, and most people don't do that.
I'm sitting here like, have I?
Yeah, or they don't realize that, oh, that LLC actually is inactive anymore. Or this isn't, I'm really not this name. That's a DBA, but my real LLC is this. You have to make sure all of that is very specific,
Right.
because when you get sued, it's going to say what entity they're coming after, and it better be named as a named insured on your policy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. And I don't know if it was. Do you feel that was it around COVID or after COVID? I feel like everyone is literally. You can just. I've got so many clients and people and friends that are like, oh yeah, something random, and they're being accused of this or that, or being
Right,
sued for
right.
this or that, and it's stuff that's almost appear to be made up.
Absolutely. And
Well,
it can't be,
accountability is
And
like
it's
the
like,
biggest
where's all that
problem right
coming
now.
from?
So true.
Everybody wants
say?
to be
Accountability? Oh,
Everybody
yeah.
wants to say somebody else did
Right.
this, or you misunderstood, or you did
Right.
this, you did this at
Yeah.
me.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we would just get back to having some freaking character, that would be cool.
So true.
Oh yeah.
That'd be helpful.
So true.
You wouldn't have a job though, so.
That's true.
Because it's all built on people wanting to sue each other, and this is protecting us.
That's true. But also,
Right.
but also property being damaged, right?
Right,
Yeah. But it's crazy. I mean, and I never thought about people actually going after people's companies that have nothing to do with it.
absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it makes sense.
They'll throw it at
wild.
the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez. In a personal accident, was the person suing, were they at fault?
Yes.
So she was at fault.
Supposedly, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We don't have to talk too much about that, but
So
yeah,
now your
those
daughter's
things are
home. Is she
wild.
working with you?
No, she's not. She actually started her big girl job today in Atlanta. She's working for a law firm,
Nice.
personal injury attorney.
Got it.
Which I said, I struggled with that this week, but it's a great fit for her, and she's going to do great. Yeah.
Yeah. Just like just da 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 da.
Why Atlanta? Why'd she go down there?
She went to school at University of Georgia
Okay.
in Athens, and so she knows lots of people in Atlanta. And
That makes
was
sense.
a natural
Atlanta's
progression.
growing big time.
Yes.
So how do you feel about that?
Love it.
What is it,
Love
5 hours? 6 hours away?
Yeah.
It's not bad.
6.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
6. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good. She's happy. If they're happy, I'm happy. So, yeah.
Well, the way people down there drive, she's going to have plenty of things to do. So,
I don't know. You
Great
barely
city to be
knew.
working for that firm.
Yeah. But she has a friend whose parents said, while you're looking for an apartment, we're going to spend the summer in Saratoga and Sea Island. Here are the keys to our house. So she is literally staying at their house
Nice.
for the summer. She said this summer is shaping up pretty
Wow.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not too
So
shabby.
she's having a great time.
That's
that's very
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So whatever happened, I don't know if you know this, but Bourbon, I used to work with them.
Yes.
What's going to happen to that building?
Well, it sold,
No, I
last
didn't.
year. Yeah.
It's so pretty.
It is. It's a gorgeous place. I'm not sure that their plans are out, so I won't get into details on it.
Keep it a little on the DL.
Yeah, I think it's still on the DL, but they're working on it. And I would assume it will be open by fall.
Oh.
I'm thinking.
Is it going to be a restaurant?
No, not a restaurant, but
You're trying to get those details.
I was just like,
not a restaurant.
So what's the name of the
we should have
place?
poured cocktails today. You told me more. I'm just kidding.
Not a restaurant, but it will be a great space for Bourbon County for sure.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's always been gorgeous.
Oh my gosh, well, it's so pretty. Joseph Clay redid it. I mean, and it was like all the pocket doors and the automatic, all the, and the stage. I mean, it's a gorgeous space.
Yes. it
And
is.
there's just becoming so much more to do there too. I was
Yes.
like, I can't believe it took this long for somebody to snatch it up.
Well, what they're doing, I think, will really benefit from this Secretariat Park, having a lot of tourists there and
It's true, yeah.
having people want to see more of what is Bourbon County and Kentucky. So that's my hint on it.
Yeah, so
So if somebody says, what is Bourbon County known for?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what would one thing be?
Hospitality, horses, and bourbon. We do have a small
That's 3
distillery
things,
there.
but
Right.
we'll go
How
with
many
it.
did you say?
One. I just,
You want me to keep going? Hospitality and
just
horses.
kidding.
I'll leave it at 2. But we do have a small distillery there, and maybe someday we'll have
Which
a
one is that
larger
one?
one. Hartfield and Company.
I don't feel like I knew that. I don't know why. I feel like I should.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
So
I was going to say maybe we should do a little tour or something.
yeah, you should.
But
Where-
we need to, we definitely need to do an event at your space because you need to see it.
Sure.
The next, and we do like for everybody to come and do the podcast taping first here, but then we'd like to do the follow-up one remotely
Okay,
because
great.
we can tape wherever. So
Yeah.
we definitely need to come and see you
Oh,
down there
that'd be
too.
good. Yeah, we've got a good
Yeah.
space for that.
Brandon needs to see it because it's cool.
cool.
It is. It's very cool.
And where is it?
We're right downtown on Main Street.
Okay.
Right by the Eiffel Tower.
By the Eiffel
Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool. Okay.
Exactly.
And so so how long have you been doing this too?
Insurance?
Yeah.
Since 2008. My aunt is a big State Farm agent in Nashville, and I just said, I want to do what she's doing. And so I got into it in 08, and I started at State Farm. I was what you call an agent intern, which means you are waiting for an agent to die or retire so that you can take their book of business. And I waited and I waited.
So you're like tripping people.
Right, exactly. It's a horrible position.
The insurance
You're like,
world.
you're feeling well.
Hoping not
you
to
don't
get
look
the-
so good, you know. So finally, 3 years later, I left and I went to Nationwide because they had a great farm package to sell to these equine farms. And then we became independent. And the great news about us being independent is we have 25 carriers or so that we work through so that our clients can get the best rates, the best value for their money, the best protection based on their needs. So
how do you describe going to somebody that's independent versus, one of these big names?
If you
Because a
go
lot of
to-
times people will say a big name, I feel like there's trust there or something,
right. Well, they only have one thing to
anymore.
sell. So you have to take that package. It's from State Farm or it's from, anyway, any captive
We don't want to give them free
agency.
publicity. We don't want to name them.
No names. No names.
Any captive agent only has one. But if you go to an independent agent like me, we're going to be able to put you in the radar and see what has the best rate for you.
So you're almost like a la carte. Like
Absolutely.
It's just,
Yeah, your
we
house
create
may
it
be
however you want it.
with Nationwide, and your auto might be with Progressive, and then we'll package it together because those were the cheapest rates for you.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And rates are not going down. There's so much in the insurance industry driving rates up. And so you definitely want to be with an
Shop
independent
around.
agent that can shop it every year for you if you need it.
Yeah.
But you get to stay with the same agent and build that relationship.
What does drive them up? The rates.
Well, lots of things. If you're talking about auto right now, there are more accidents than ever. There are more drivers on the
everyone's
road than
texting
ever.
and driving.
And there's more distractions than ever. And then also, it costs more to get your car fixed than it ever has before.
That's true, too.
And if you get hurt, your medical bills are more expensive. So all of these things have created a perfect storm for auto insurance rates to go up.
Yeah.
But then on the property side, all these natural disasters or
Right.
and then we have supply chain issues and just building supplies in general are so much more, and it's hard to get somebody to do anything.
And people don't think about all those logistics, like insuring the stuff that you're getting in case it never shows up, and all that stuff. Because
Right.
I was talking to one of our builders, Nick Phillips, the Scout Guide builder, and that was kind of, now that I think about it, that was kind of the thing he was talking about, was insuring all the stuff that he doesn't even have yet.
Right,
I mean,
right.
because it's on back orders and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But and that's one of the things too with Scout Guides, we're always trying to make sure that we want a lot of that B2B stuff to go on.
Right.
So we were talking about how Scout Guide is a member organization, and we wanted to be able to offer. So that's when we were talking to Angie Slater about the small supplemental
Yes.
cancers.
Yeah.
The,
And Andrew
additional.
and I talked this week.
Yeah, good. Okay, good. And so that's the kind of thing, I want you to talk to Nick, and that's going to be our next event, to have you talk to the bigger portion of the package, not just the health thing,
Right.
those supplemental pieces.
Yeah,
yes.
that'd be great.
Because I just think it's so smart.
Yes, I agree.
Because people don't think about, everybody's busy running their business. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, well, you need to talk to Holly. She's
Right.
right here. She's
Right.
she's right down the road.
Yeah.
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 And you can do so much. So it
Sure.
customized.
Absolutely. Yeah, I emailed you yesterday thinking we really need to start marketing to all
Each
of the
other.
other Scout
Yeah.
Guide members.
And that's what those member events are for too.
Yeah.
For you guys to get to know each other. Hopefully you can come to the Southland Drive
Yes,
one that we're
that
doing
looks like
on
a
the
good one.
14th.
Yeah.
That's fun. And they are. That's just a great opportunity, because I feel like, I know it sounds silly, but I always say when we have these member events, everybody starts talking and stuff, and then I'm like, oh, this is where the magic starts happening.
Right.
Because it's true,
That is
I mean, there's
true,
so much value in everybody just working together, and it's, because they're I know. See, right? I'm telling you.
You're loving the
Right.
chair, right?
Yeah,
and I'm
now I am. Pillow behind me.
Do you want to change chairs?
No.
Okay.
Your makeup does look so good. You're like
thank you.
that light. It does. It looks really pretty.
you.
But yeah, and that's because I'm always saying the businesses are consumers too.
Absolutely. Yes,
And then it's
absolutely.
peer to peer, which makes it even easier.
Yeah.
To have those conversations, because you're so
Absolutely.
like minded in what you're doing.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I like it. It's working for everybody.
Well, how is the Louisville taking off?
Good. It's busy. We are supposed to go to print in February. Well, not supposed to go to print. We will go to print in February. And I mean, and there's so much crossover.
Right.
Every time I've met with anybody in Louisville, the first thing they say to me, because obviously I'm giving them the Lexington guides right now, because that's all we have to give them as an example. And they're going through it. And they're like, oh, I shop there. I shop there. I shop there. I know them. I know them. And I mean, it's literally almost every single person we visit with.
Yeah.
And I knew that kind of, because I mean, I'm from Louisville and I'm here. So I kind of had a feeling there was going to be, not to the extent that I've seen.
Right.
It's unbelievable. They're practically, I mean, you know, if you leave here and go to Blankenbaker, it's 45 minutes.
Right.
So it's kind of like they're really just becoming, it's no big deal. People come here all the time.
Absolutely.
Well, Louisville, I think, did I just hear that they were like the #1 destination or something this summer based off of sheer search volume?
Yes. And I'm learning, I've been talking with their visitors bureau and stuff. They had 6 boutique hotels that just went up this year.
Wow.
Because of the estimated volume of visitorship and relocation for Bourbon. The Bourbon Trail is like, it's unbelievable. Weddings and business and horses and bourbon.
Wow.
I mean, it's just insane. And I mean, the Bourbon Trail starts down there at Fraser Museum.
Yeah.
It's the start of it. And yeah, and like even the Airbnbs that we've been talking to in for sales and in Paris, I mean, there's so many, they're booked constantly.
Right. This bourbon boom, everybody says, oh, it's over. We've hit the bubble. It is not going anywhere.
No.
Anywhere I travel, oh, you're from Bourbon County, Kentucky. Oh, you must know so much about bourbon. And yeah, it's crazy.
It is. I mean, it's unbelievable.
See, I thought, and I was totally wrong because I wasn't thinking about this how I normally would. I was thinking that, like, you know, some of these companies, makers and others, are like owned by Japanese companies now.
Right.
It's sort of sold out.
But actually, they didn't. I met with Rob Samuels last week. He really didn't sell out. That's a whole nother podcast. Go on.
Okay. I would love to hear more. But just the idea of, you know, it's a tradition. It's an American thing. And there's a lot of pride, especially within Kentucky, about that spirit.
For sure.
But then we've made this community where it's like you sell your barrel strength stuff to other people as just another revenue stream. And it's like, but you're also sort of diluting the industry by bringing all these other things in. And I was thinking that would actually hurt it, but I think it makes sense because now it's just expanding what's possible with bourbon and it's making it more accessible to people.
Yeah. It's way all sorts of other stuff. It puts more eyes on Kentucky.
For sure.
Yeah.
You know, people that didn't think about it or thinking about it. So,
I mean,
and like you, I feel like Paris feels like it's 2 seconds away now. Like, I mean, I've been there. It is. It's not, I mean, it's getting closer and closer too, I feel like.
I agree.
It's kind of crazy, that evolution, I feel like, in the last 10 years with my wife, Miranda, teaching out in that direction. And us having kids and the babysitter being out there and going out every morning and afternoon, the traffic flow is different. Like in the morning, there's a ton of people going out to Paris now, when before it was just everybody coming into Lexington.
Right.
So it seems pretty balanced. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know where they're going.
I don't either.
But they're going out Paris Pike.
Interesting.
I know.
But there's a lot. Like, I mean, there's a lot going on, I feel like.
It is funny.
Have you seen it? Evolving.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's funny when I come from Lexington and I get back to Paris Pike, headed back to Bourbon County, I'm like, whew, there's no traffic. It's so nice out here. You can breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's true.
It's an instant feeling when you hit Paris Pike.
Yeah.
It is kind of crazy, though, to go from a real city vibe to immediate horse country.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
We have an old Mercedes. It's a 1988 convertible that we drive in the summer, and it's fun.
Is it the little 2-door one?
Mm-hmm.
Love those.
Just like Jennifer Hart had.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yes.
Wonderful.
I'm so jealous. I love that.
I know. But when I'm driving it in Lexington, it's so hot. And then I hit Paris Pike
Really?
again, and I swear to you, immediately it's 10 degrees cooler. I swear to you. It's really interesting.
Well, cities do that, right?
Photograph you in next year. That's what we should photograph you
Okay.
in for 10 years.
Okay.
That would be so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Auto insurance.
Yeah. Cute. But yeah, so 10 years from now, what do you think will McMillin Insurance look like?
I don't know. I think things are so virtual that we don't have to have offices everywhere as we grow, but we continue to grow. I will be not in the office every day, hopefully, at that point. I'd like to do more traveling. I travel quite a bit now, but
Yeah, y'all do.
fact,
Y'all seem pretty.
yeah, I'm going to Spain in a few weeks.
Oh,
so that's going to be
nice.
nice.
Where are you going?
We're going to land in Madrid and spend a few days there and then head up to the wine country and then see the running of the bulls.
Oh, wow.
And then on to San Sebastian, which is on the coast, which is the culinary capital of the world.
Really?
So
Did
that
not
should
know
be
that.
really fun.
Oh my gosh, that'll
Yeah.
be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Make sure to do a TikTok while you're there.
I should.
You need to.
I'm going to have to learn how to do it myself.
You have to like practice.
Yeah.
Because that'll be amazing.
Well, be careful with the bulls.
Right.
She's
I
insured.
will actually be
Yeah.
running myself.
Is there insurance for that?
I don't think so. Just my life insurance, but yeah.
But yeah, that'll be amazing. But yeah.
I don't know why now my brain wants to go down that rabbit hole. If you're running with the bulls, like how do you actually, can you
see the
even
bull?
do something? Yeah.
Can
you even protect yourself?
Well, you could have life insurance.
I mean,
That's
other than
about
that.
it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That is electively jumping into the street with a bull. I don't think there's any way you can. There's no one to blame but yourself there.
Right.
Yeah.
What's like the craziest thing that you've had to insure?
Yes.
I want to hear that kind of stuff.
I knew you would ask me that, and I honestly don't have anything interesting to tell
Oh, I
you.
doubt that.
I can't think. The most interesting claim we had a vehicle that was just destroyed by a dog that, I mean, he chewed the entire car up. That was
Oh my God.
kind of interesting.
What kind of dog?
I don't
The
remember. Yeah. Probably like a
Be
Jack
funny if it's
Russell
like-
or
Like
Yeah,
a
you're gonna say
chihuahua.
it's like pit bull. No,
No.
it's a poodle.
then another claim that came to me is this guy was driving down I-64 and a turkey flew into his windshield.
Oh my
and
God.
I cannot imagine
Yuck.
how terrifying, because I had the photos. I mean, it covered his
They're
windshield.
huge.
His face is in the car. It would have been terrifying.
Did he get hurt?
No.
Wow.
Thank
He
God for
managed
that.
to get over to the shoulder. And that was kind of crazy.
So lots of wildlife incidents.
Right.
Oh, question. All right, with deer. Are you not supposed to swerve?
No.
Because now that is considered you like you're at fault because you swerved.
That's correct.
I did not know this.
That would be a collision accident versus a comprehensive accident.
That's just.
So you're supposed to hit.
I guess
the
it
deer?
makes sense, but at the same time,
You
holy
could
cow!
get seriously hurt if you swerve to hit the deer, to swerve to miss the deer and then run into a tree.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. So you always tell your kids, don't swerve to miss an animal.
So it's a decision between getting hurt from the deer or getting hurt from the deer
Tree.
plus
Right,
something.
Right.
Okay.
That doesn't sound like a really like. It's just like hit the deer. Like
There's a deer, but I'm not going to do anything
Yeah,
about
yeah.
this. Like that's so like anti-human. I feel like to expect somebody to be like, okay, well, I'm going to brace, but not do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so weird.
You know?
Yeah. You don't want to swerve off the road.
Yeah, I guess. I had one jump right in front of my car once, and I
Yeah.
thought I was going to be dead.
I had one jump into my driver's side door.
Oh, my
And he looked at me for, I swear, it felt like 5 seconds. And
That
I
is
was
so aggressive.
screaming. Yeah, I was
Oh, my
screaming,
God.
"Don't you do it?" And he did it.
Yelling at the deer.
He did it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So what do you like about Bourbon County? So obviously we're talking about it like, growing and you've been out there for a while. You could have been in Lexington.
And her home.
Right.
I'm sure you live at her house and your farm.
I love where I live. I love the space I have. I love friends and community in Bourbon County. I love a small town feel. I like to be able to walk downtown from my office to Lil's for lunch or trackside.
It's really charming.
Yes. I like to walk with Hagen's mom in the morning, all downtown, and
Nice.
it's just a walkable town. I just love the community vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. It's
Businesses
great.
working together.
Yeah. We need to do a little event there too.
For
we could
sure.
Bring our members to your office and do a little.
For sure. One of my clients, the Pointers, they have done so much work in Bourbon County to revitalize the buildings downtown. So many people talk about it. These people do it. And I mean do it on the fly. They say, oh, I have an idea. And 3 weeks later, they've
Don't you
bought
love
it,
that? I love
changed
that.
it. It's ready to
Yeah,
go.
like
It's
just
already
get it
rented out
done.
for an Airbnb. Yeah. And they've done that to multiple buildings. And they were the founders, along with Bobby Shiflett, on the Secretariat Park. And
Okay.
anyway, I love working with people like that are really go-getters, that are really making a difference.
Right.
And a legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something that's going to last forever.
Right.
Yeah. And so, when is that supposed to be done by fall?
November 11th.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's soon.
Yeah.
And where did you say it is? The
It'll
park?
be downtown Paris.
So obviously the courthouse is there. You got downtown Main
Before
Street.
that,
But yeah, I'm just trying to picture where.
if you were familiar with Varden's, did you know the Varden's building? Anyway,
No.
it's kind of the middle of downtown.
Okay.
What is that other little Airbnb? Well, it's an Airbnb, but it's also event space. And I can't remember her name, but I talked to her once before. That was really neat. It was like a little hidden gem. It used to be a carriage house or something. I think it sits like a block of, like if you're on your front porch looking towards Bourbon, old Bourbon, like the street behind it. Yes. Thank you.
yeah.
Yep, that's it.
Job.
Yeah. Veronica?
Yeah, Veronica. Yeah.
Veronica.
Yeah.
Yeah, I toured that with
I think
her
she's
once.
doing well. Yeah.
Yeah,
She's
brought her a bunch of
busy.
guides. That was neat. That's like, I was like, what? She
Yeah.
reached out on Instagram and showed it to me, and I was
good.
like, this is the coolest thing ever.
She's a hustler. She does a lot.
Yeah, and that bar they built in there and all kinds of stuff. So that's why I was like, we need to do an event, like start at your place and do like what we're doing with Southland, do
Yeah,
like a little sip and
progressive.
shop, and do,
Yeah,
just
that'd
kind
be
of pop
great.
around.
For
you
sure.
know?
Do a little walk downtown.
I know.
And show you the
Yeah.
highlights.
I know, it'd be so fun. I love it.
Yeah.
We need to do that.
You remember when that movie was there? The Johnny Knoxville movie or whatever? That was so random.
The
It
one
felt like
that was based in Pikeville or
something.
Eastern Kentucky. It was filmed across the street from me in the Pointers building. The Pointers had redone it, and but I haven't seen
movie
it.
was
Have
that?
you?
I don't remember the
Johnny
name of
Knoxville was
it.
in it?
Yeah, it was like a handful of years ago.
I know
Yeah.
he's so dumb, but he's so cute. I'll watch it just because.
I think it was more of a serious role for him, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
I didn't even know it was John.
I don't know anything about the movie. I'm pretty
I
sure it was
think
him.
What you were talking about, it was based on maybe an FBI agent who had an affair with somebody. I don't know. It was really
need
interesting.
to
She
look
got
that up.
pregnant and he killed her. And,
Oh.
Yeah, it was really.
Now we have something to watch
Now
tonight, I
Interesting.
guess.
But what I watched the past 2 nights, also based in Eastern Kentucky, was the Eric Kahn. It's called The Big Con, based on Eric Kahn, that attorney that went on the run, remember? And he
yeah.
fleeced the Social Security Administration
Yeah.
office.
That was
Do you
based.
remember
They based
that?
that
No.
where? Where was that based?
It's Pikeville.
Interesting.
Yeah, and if you're familiar with Better Call Saul, I mean, this
I've
is
heard
the
of that, yeah.
real life Better
Interesting.
Call Saul in Kentucky. It is fascinating.
Well, and one thing I had mentioned to you that I was going to mention to you on here is there's actually a producer in town right now from California, and they're doing a movie in Danville. That's where it's going to be. The main parts of the movie are going to be set in Danville because it's academic. It's the remake of the Goodnight Miss Wycliffe. Have you heard of that? Where she has an
No.
affair with her professor.
Are they doing it at Center? Mm-hmm. Okay.
And some of the buildings there. And at the Beaumont Inn, there's some scenes at Beaumont Inn. I've seen it, hopefully, maybe at Maker's Mark, because that's why I was talking to them. But we've talked about going into Paris, too, and maybe picking some spots. So,
yeah.
Yeah, so he doesn't leave for the next, 2.5 weeks. So I told him
We're
that
supposed to
I
do
was
a
gonna
podcast,
see
I
you
know.
today.
We need to. We were talking about doing a podcast or something, right?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
with him.
okay.
And he's supposed to leave, yes. And so that's what I was going to talk to both of you about it. So
Yeah.
he doesn't leave for another 2 weeks. So,
Okay.
but I told him I was like, I'm meeting with Holly, and
Yeah.
she's in Paris. He's like, well, tell her we would love to come and check it out because they want to do I think it'd be cool if they did a scene at the at Lil's, right?
Yeah.
At the little diner because it literally looks like it's back in time.
Yeah.
They didn't renovate that.
No.
Right?
Right.
And I think it will go great with the whole setting. They want it to feel that way. They don't want it to feel super relevant, like now.
Right.
Time frame, an era.
We can find him something
Cool.
for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
And then I'll do plugs, of course.
Right.
Well, cool. Yeah, let's get that all set up.
Yeah.
Figured
it's
out.
Really neat. But it's been interesting to learn about the stuff that they're doing for that.
It's a fascinating story plot too. I just read a book similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. And it's a little racy. I mean, I read the script and I was like, oh, okay.
I can't wait.
I know. And they're still casting too. So, y'all can throw your hats in the ring for that. They are still looking for people for stuff. So
Do I look like a college girl?
yes. Doing new makeup and everything. Right.
You're on
course.
TikTok and everything,
I
right?
know,
I mean, come
I'm
on.
on TikTok. Like you're doing all the things.
I always tell this story. My daughter just graduated from college, but when she went, I would tell people, my daughter just started college, and I would wait for one person, just one person to say, you cannot possibly have a daughter in college. Not one person, ever. It's very frustrating. So now
But I feel the same way with
Now
my
you're-
18-year-old.
graduated.
That's funny you say that because I feel like that. I'm like wanting somebody to go, you have an 18-year-old? And they're like, never. I never get it. And I'm like, damn. Like, I need to get more Botox or something. Somebody's got to think I'm not old enough to have an 18-year-old.
When I look in the mirror, I don't look that old.
It's so funny. I do think about that too. Oh my God. I know.
Well, thank you for coming.
you.
And we definitely should do a follow-up at your place.
Yes, definitely.
I'd love to.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love it out in
Nice
Paris.
to see you
It would be
all.
good to
I
go
love
out
your
there.
Place.
I know, it's cool.
Yeah,
It's
Rebecca
fun.
did a great job.
It's a really,
Next time, I think we should have wine and a charcuterie.
I think we should, yeah. I'll bring
I'm
that
taking
to
notes.
yours.
Music, wine,
Yes,
charcuterie,
we'll bring
now
that
the
you're
whole
doing-
thing.
We'll do that at
Yeah.
my place.
Okay, there we go.
Yes. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. It was good. Yeah.
Hey, thanks so much for listening to the Lexington Business Show. Go right now, rate and review the podcast. It's how we grow and thrive and how we get more listeners and get to do a lot more cool stuff here on the show. Thank you.